Welcome back to Battery Man. It's week 5 of becoming an electrician. This week I learned about rings, radials and spurs. All the devices in your home with a plug are connected back to the consumer unit by one of these. Rings are a little like boomerangs, they come back. A loop of wire comes from the consumer unit and loops to each socket and back to the same breaker in the consumer unit. Radials go from the consumer unit to each socket, but there's a final socket rather than leading back to the consumer unit. Radials have requirements such as protection by a fuse or MCB and cable sizing depending on floor space covered by the circuit. Some examples of radials are water heaters, cookers or shower circuits. Spurs are tees off a ring. A single or double socket like an outside socket off an internal ring or an appliance such as a boiler. They can either be fused or not fused. Fused means that the spur is protected by a correctly rated fuse and not rated over 13 amps. Electrical generation. Most of the electricity that we use is generated with a 3-phase alternator. Effectively, this means that we have 3 coils of wire within a rotating magnetic field on a shaft that gives us a sine wave of alternating current. There's 120 degrees between each of the phases, and if we times the degrees apart by 3, we come to a full rotation 360 degrees. At this stage, and until we need to step the voltages down, for our use cases of 400 volts or 230 volts, we have what's called a balanced system and require just 3 wires. We can measure the voltage across the 2 line conductors, any 2, and this is called the line voltage. Any step up or step down transformers would have a delta shape or configuration. At this stage, the voltage across the phase windings or phase voltage is the same as the voltage across the lines, the line voltage. However, the line current would be the square root of 3 times greater than the phase current. When we need to step the voltage down to levels that we would expect in our offices and homes, the configuration of the transformer would change to a star connection type. This type of connection provides us with an extra connection, our neutral terminal. We'd expect in the UK to see 400 volts between any 2 lines, but we would see 230 volts between the line and the neutral. This 230 volts from each of the phases is spread between properties to balance the system so that each of the phases has roughly the same load. Although, let's be honest, not everyone is going to have their toaster on at the same time, so it can become quite difficult to keep the system balanced. This impacts greatly on industrial settings, where an imbalance between the phases can affect things such as motors and cause inefficiencies, which ultimately the business would be paying for. Load balancing the 3 phases is a topic just for itself. Well, there you have it. Another week of a journey in becoming an electrician. My training provider assures me that I'm well ahead, but we do like to put pressure on ourselves, don't we? Different countries have different methods for electrics. I'd love for you to share in the comments how things are done where you live. Don't forget to like and subscribe, keep learning, and I'll see you next time. Battery Man out.